For decades, physicists have chased a dream. This dream is a single theory. It would explain everything in the universe. String theory emerged as a leading candidate. It promised to unite gravity with quantum mechanics. These two pillars of modern physics often seem at odds. String theory offered a way to make them dance together. It painted a picture of reality made of tiny vibrating strings. These strings, smaller than anything we can imagine, would be the fundamental building blocks of all matter and all forces. However, the journey of string theory has been challenging. It operates in a realm far beyond our current experimental reach. Testing its core predictions directly has proven incredibly difficult. This brings us to an alternative, yet profoundly resonant idea. It is known as SHABAD theory. This theory doesn't come from complex equations or particle colliders. It originates from ancient spiritual wisdom, particularly prominent in the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. SHABAD theory proposes that the ultimate reality is not a physical string but a primordial vibration, a divine sound or word. String theory, at its heart, is a radical idea. It proposes that if we could zoom in on an electron, we wouldn't find a point-like particle. Instead, we would discover a tiny, one-dimensional loop. This loop is a string. These strings are unimaginably small, perhaps as small as the Planck length. Their nature is pure vibration. Just like a guitar string can vibrate at different frequencies, these strings vibrate in different patterns. Each pattern corresponds to a different type of particle. One might be an electron, another a photon, or a quark. The diversity of particles is different notes played by these strings. String theory requires more dimensions of space. Most versions suggest 10 or 11 dimensions. These extra dimensions are thought to be curled up so tightly that we cannot perceive them. SHABAD theory offers a profoundly different starting point for understanding reality. It is not born from mathematical equations, but from deep spiritual insight and experiential realization. The term SHABAD itself comes from Sanskrit and Punjabi. It translates to word, sound, or divine utterance. At its core, SHABAD theory posits that the fundamental reality, the very essence of all existence, is a primordial vibration. This is not just any sound, but an unstruck sound, Anhad SHABAD, a creative resonance that underpins the entire cosmos. This concept of a creative word or sound is articulated with remarkable clarity in the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, the founder of Sikhism. Guru Nanak described this SHABAD as the source from which all creation emanates. Through the word, he created the universes, states the Guru Granth Sahib, the Sikh Holy Scripture. SHABAD theory therefore suggests a universe that is fundamentally vibrational and imbued with a divine essence. Section 4. Deeper than strings, consciousness and certainty. When we compare SHABAD theory with string theory, one of the most striking differences lies at the very fundamental level. String theory posits that the ultimate building blocks are unimaginably tiny, vibrating strings of energy. SHABAD theory, however, goes a step further, or perhaps a step deeper. It proposes that the fundamental reality is not a physical string, but the SHABAD, the primordial word or sound. This word is not just a vibration, it is imbued with consciousness and creative intent. Another crucial distinction is the inclusion of consciousness. String theory, like much of modern physics, does not inherently incorporate consciousness into its framework. SHABAD theory, conversely, places consciousness at the very heart of reality. The SHABAD is not a mindless vibration, it is the expression of a conscious divine source. Therefore, consciousness is not something that appears late in the cosmic game, it is fundamental, present from the very beginning, and intrinsic to the fabric of existence. This offers a radically different perspective on our place in the universe and the nature of awareness itself. The path to understanding also differs significantly. Section 5. Beyond Spacetime, the Unified Word and Creation. String theory operates within the framework of spacetime, albeit an expanded one with extra compactified dimensions. SHABAD theory, however, proposes that the SHABAD, the primordial word, originates from a source that is timeless and spaceless. This source is considered the absolute, the unmanifest, beyond all attributes and dimensions. The Shabad is the first emanation from this absolute, the bridge between the unmanifest and the manifest universe. Therefore, the Shabad itself is prior to space-time, and space-time is, in fact, a creation of the Shabad. Both theories aim for a unified field, a single explanation for all fundamental forces and particles. Shabad theory posits that the Shabad is the ultimate unified field. It is the singular underlying resonance from which all diversity in the universe emerges. All forms, all energies, all laws of nature are seen as different expressions or modulations of this one primordial sound. This provides a profound sense of interconnectedness, where everything is a note in the cosmic song of the Shabad. Section 6. The Observer and the Observed, a Unified Perspective. One of the enduring mysteries in quantum mechanics is the observer effect. This is the phenomenon where the act of measuring a quantum system inevitably disturbs the system. String theory, while a quantum theory, doesn't inherently resolve this philosophical conundrum in a way that satisfies all. Shabad theory, however, offers a unique resolution through its principle of non-duality. If the observer and the observed are ultimately one, manifestations of the same underlying Shabad, then the paradox dissolves. In the non-dual reality proposed by Shabad theory, the separation between the consciousness observing and the phenomenon being observed is illusory at the deepest level. Both are expressions of the singular all-encompassing Shabad. Therefore, the interaction between observer and observed is not a disturbance of an independent system by an external agent. Instead, it is an interaction within a unified whole. The act of observation is part of the cosmic play of the Shabad itself. This perspective elegantly sidesteps the paradox by reframing the relationship. The observer isn't separate from the system, but an integral part of its unfolding manifestation, both rooted in the same primordial vibration. Section 7. Shabad Theory, a new dawn for understanding reality. In our quest to understand the universe, we have developed incredible tools and theories. String theory is a mathematically elegant attempt to describe reality. However, its challenges suggest it may not be the final story. Shabad theory, from sages like Guru Nanak Dev Ji, offers a new perspective. It proposes that the ultimate reality is the Shabad, the primordial sound, a reality where consciousness is the source of creation. All existence is a symphony of vibrations from this conscious world. This ancient wisdom, viewed through a contemporary lens, complements our scientific models. It speaks of a universe that is inherently unified and meaningful. The comparison with string theory highlights Shabad theory's strengths. The deepest truths of the universe are to be realized, heard in the silence of one's being.